People ask sometimes like, at what point are we going to make a decision? And I always say never. You will never actually make a decision on this. When we get all the way to the end of this discovery process, it is going to be so crystal clear you've found the best thing for you. You're going to get there and go, yeah, this is it. Let's go. Hello, everyone, and thanks for tuning in to the latest edition of FranCoach's Franchising 101 podcast. I am Tim Parmeter, founder and CEO of FranCoach and your podcast host. Today, we are going to talk about a specific part of the process we take people through, and it's right at the very beginning of the discovery process when we're introducing people to the franchisors. Exciting, also a little nerve-wracking time. And one of the things people tend to ask is like, oh my gosh, what questions should I have ready for that first call in this process? That's what we're going to talk about today. So first up, as always, quick reminder of who we are at FranCoach. We are the premier franchise consulting firm. Our number one goal never ever has anything to do about selling you anything. Our number one goal is to help get you properly educated on franchise ownership to determine if you should own one. If so, we're going to help you figure out what is your absolute best franchise to own. Not anybody else's. There's no such thing as a top franchise or best industry. This is an incredibly individualized and personalized process. Our team's going to take the time to get to know you so we can help you find your best fit. That's what this is all about. So now let's talk about, what do we ask the franchisors? What should we be thinking about asking the franchisors at the beginning of the discovery process? Okay, so first, what the heck is a discovery process? So let's back up a little bit. So when people come to our team at FranCoach, like you're going to do here shortly, so we go through really 3 pretty thorough steps to build out, to get to know you, and then to kind of build out, if you owned a franchise, what does that need to look like? Then we're going to do all the research from there, right? We know we're working with over 600 franchises. We know all of their proprietary behind the scenes stuff, what they're all about, how they differ. And again, franchises can look the same to the consumer, but be completely different behind the scenes. You can't Google that stuff. It's the relationships we have. So we know the franchisors. We're going to go through these 3 steps to really figure out you, right? There's nothing more important. As I said, there's nothing more important in this process than you. So we do that. We know them. Now we're going to be a matchmaker. Now we're going to come back to you and we're going to get you connected with 3, maybe 4 brands. Again, it's got to be a very small, short, kind of targeted list. Frankly, if somebody's giving you more than that, then they're pretty damn lazy and they weren't doing a very good job getting to know you, right? So another little fun fact about the industry. So we're going to have a call. We're going to walk you through all right, here's these three franchises, which, by the way, usually almost always are going to look really different on the surface. Okay. It's not uncommon for people to think, when I have that call, it's not uncommon for people to think I've completely lost my mind with one of them. They're like, ugh, right. Now, the fun fact of this is you'd be surprised how many times the franchise people kind of roll their eyes at me about is the one they end up owning in the end. Okay. So the more they throw a fit on that call about that one, the more I kind of make fun of them when they end up owning it in the end. So, but we're going to tell you what these brands are, and then we're going to introduce you to them to start what we refer to as the discovery process. So the discovery process is 6 to 8 weeks long. There will be a dozen or more steps where we are vetting the franchise and they're going to be vetting you. It's kind of like dating, right? So we are here. Our team is with you throughout all of this. There are so many different things. I always tell people, like, even right off the bat, it's easy to get overwhelmed. And then we work with smart, successful people. No, Tim, I can't possibly, you don't know me. I don't get overwhelmed. And then about a week later, they're like, holy crap, that was a lot, right? And I'm like, yeah, and we just now got started. So it's a couple-month process, 12, 15 different steps along the way, talking to multiple different people, and we're balancing this with 3, maybe 4 brands, okay? Again, we'll have tons of calls almost weekly throughout this to help you navigate the whole thing. So, but we're just now like, okay, here's your 3 franchises. I'm going to get to those franchises, reach out to set up that first call. And then everybody's going to go, what questions should I ask at the start? And my very simple answer that I'm pretty sure annoys everybody is I'm going to say, you don't really need any questions to start with. Wait, what? Right? Again, corporate brain people are going to go, well, I have to have these questions at the interview for the 3 minutes at the end of that hour interview. I get asked questions. I got to come up with something clever. They've never have heard this question before. They're going to love me and they're going to hire me. That ain't this, people, right? So are you going to have questions? Of course you are. Even on our call when we're introducing these franchises, there's going to be things that are going to pop into your head. Good, bad, indifferent, amazing, scary, all of the things, right? You're going to have all the feels as you go through this. Then once between our call and your first call with the franchisor, they're going to start sending us stuff, right? Like the good stuff, the proprietary things. People have a tendency to go to Google at this point, and I'm like, just save yourself. Don't. Google is consumer facing, right? What the franchisor is sending you, the proprietary, this is what it's like to own a franchise. You're really not Googleable things, okay? But you're going to have some more questions that are going to pop up, right? Questions, and concerns. So definitely write them down, right? Don't not write them down. But when we get you connected to that first phone call, again, most of the things that are popping into people's minds at this point is like not to, make anybody think that they didn't come up with this amazing question, but this isn't the franchisor's first rodeo, folks. The things that are on your mind at that point are the same things that are on the mind for everybody at that point. Like, oh, I'm worried about the competition. Oh, what about the staff? Oh, I don't know anything about that. I couldn't possibly own a, kitchen remodel franchise. I don't even know how to hold the hammer. All of it, right? We've heard it all. It's in your mind. Don't discount the fact that it's in your mind, but just there, right? Most of those things at the beginning, and why I said, like, don't have people focus on specific questions at the beginning, is those are the things that are in your mind are going to get answered naturally, usually pretty early on in this process. There are sometimes maybe it takes a little longer to get into throughout this, but this is, again, a 2-month long process with, 10, 15 different steps along the way. Okay. So you also have to then understand is so your questions, again, no offense, are not all that unique in this process. The franchisor already knows the questions you're thinking about. And usually just as part of their process, they're going to address those pretty quickly. That kind of then gets us to the good stuff. Rarely, and I mean rarely, are those things that are on your mind right at the beginning going to actually be like differentiators in, aha, I got you. I knew this was a bunch of crap, or wow, this is perfect for me. That's not going to happen right away, right? The questions that really kind of trigger which is best for you tend to come later on. They're usually things that, like, if I gave you an like, okay, you got to come up with the most important question of all, you're not going to think of it then because it comes as we learn more and more and more about the franchise. It's also why you're going to have so many calls with our team going through this to help make sure you don't miss any. Okay. Now, here's the other thing that kind of factors into the questions is you have to understand that every franchise has a different process that they're going to take you with. As much as I'm going to say it's a 6 to 8 week process and there's a dozen or more steps along the way, we'll be hard pressed to find 2 franchises that are going to have those steps be the exact same. Okay. So that can also cause some confusion in this journey. One day, hopefully soon, I will be appointed czar of franchising, and every franchise will have the same damn process to make this very easy and less misleading for folks. Okay. But until my czarship begins, we have to just understand these brands have their process, right? So we all have to follow it. You may have one first call. We have 3 different first calls. well, you will have 3 different first calls. One might be 30 minutes and it's just, hey, let's just get to know each other, right? We're not really talking much about the brand at all. It's really just that. We may have another one that really jumps in and they're going to tell you all about the marketing. The next call they're going to have is operations. Well, then you talk to the third brand, they're telling you all about the operations stuff and don't even mention marketing. Does that mean they don't have marketing help? No, it just means that's what they're going to do next. One franchise might have the FDD come on the 4th call. The other one might have it on the 2nd. One might get you into validation calls with owners quicker than the other, right? Again, it's where, again, our team at FranCoach comes into play to help with this. We're borderline your like executive assistant, project manager, helping make sure we go through all of this, okay? So yes, you're going to have some questions. Yes, you're going to have some concerns. Always write those down. And then as you're going through the calls, take notes. You are not going to even remotely remember everything. And then you're getting on the phone with our team and we're going to go, all right, Bob, tell me about that first round of calls. And you're like, yeah, we talked about some stuff and some other stuff and it was good. Now we need to be able to dive into that. So then as we're going through these calls, first call all the way through the end, and it's all of the information, all of the bells and the whistles. Oh my gosh, we have great in-house marketing team. We've got a call center. We do this, we do that. We've got buying power and vendors and national accounts and blah, 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 blah. Whew, it's a lot. The 3 most important things to determine what is your best franchise, right? It's always going to come back to these 3 things. It is the owner role. What are you getting your butt out of bed to go do every day, right? Then it's going to be number 2 is going to be the people. And so this is a couple ways. People, your staff, what kind, how many? Customers, we kind of need customers as a business owner. All the things that go into that customer profile. And then in the community, what are the people we're talking about, talking to and about what? And then third is the franchisor. And that is going to be a handful of things. Their leadership team, all of their support, how do their owners collaborate? What are the ways in which they support you best? How does that align their culture? And just very simply, do you feel like you're in the right room with them? Owner role, people, franchisor. Those are the 3 things. And you're going to hear all the bells and whistles, but you always want to kind of come back to those things, right? So that's what's going to happen. So we get back to how do you prepare for this, right? We introduced you to these 3 franchises. They reach out and they're going to reach out fast. Bob, hey, Tim said we should set up a call. Here's my calendar link. How about Tuesday at 2, right? Boom, right? Now it's on the calendar. So, how do we prepare for all this? Well, the main thing is definitely write down anything that you've got, questions, concerns, things you like, things you're excited about, things that scare the crap out of you, whatever. Write them down. But really, the thing you need to do to prepare is you need to book the call and then show up. Like literally, people, it's that simple at the beginning. Show up, have an open mind, be eager to learn, be ready to learn because it is going to come fast at you. Okay. But understand that the most crucial and impactful questions that are going to truly determine which is best for you come much later in the discovery process. And again, our team, we are here to make sure you don't miss asking an important question or talking to somebody that you need to speak with. Okay. I always say the discovery process is like dating, right? So think of this as a first date. You're not going to get everything on your mind answered on the first date. I really highly doubt you're going to go from, hey, let's go out for a cup of coffee on a first date. And then 30 minutes later, you want to go to Vegas and get married? No, right? Like it's not going to happen. It takes time to vet that other person. And guess what? They are vetting you as well. The same thing is going on with the franchisors. We're going to help you vet them in ways you can't even imagine, but they are vetting you as well. All of your questions are going to get answered. Are they all going to get answered on the first call? No, right? And even the ones that are, you're going to hear about it from other people later in this journey, okay? The real questions, the true differentiators rarely cross anybody's mind at this point. They're going to come up as we learn more, We're going to be more inquisitive. We're going to ask questions that we can't even fathom at the beginning of this. And again, I can't stress this enough. We're here to guide you to make sure that happens. Okay. And really, like I always tell people, like there's going to be things that we're going to have you ask, ways in which to ask them. I always kind of come back to the financial stuff because it's where people's mind always goes. And I always say this, the money follows the fit, right? When I said, what are the three things, owner role, people, franchisor, I didn't say money, right? Because the money follows the fit with that. But we're going to ask questions about the money. How much money do you make? If you're talking to an owner and that's your question, you're going to look like a damn fool, right? There are specific ways we want to ask that question to make sure we are getting the proper picture painted. That's what we're here for. So we get to the point, we're starting the discovery process. We built everything out for you. We've got 3, maybe 4 brands we've shortlisted. We're going to get you connected and start you on this 2-month journey. Write down all your stuff, your questions, your concerns. Understand they're not going to get all answered right away on the first call. A good chunk of them probably will. And the most important questions are the ones that are going to come down the road. But just show up eager to learn, smile on your face, open mind. At the very least, you're going to learn information from people who have been in this industry forever to help you first determine, is this for you? Just franchising in general, right? Always remember this is a 2-month process, right? A dozen or more steps before we get to the end. We're here through you. And again, for all of the information and the bells and the whistles and we're going to do this and this and this. 3 things: owner role, people you're around, staff, customers, community, and that franchisor, right? That's our key. We're always going to bring you back to those 3 things, but it's honestly pretty darn simple, folks. Show the heck up, smile on your face, ready to learn, take notes. And this will all be, people ask sometimes like, at what point are we going to make a decision? And I always say never. You will never actually make a decision on this. When we get all the way to the end of this discovery process, it is going to be so crystal clear you've found the best thing for you. You're going to get there and go, yeah, this is it. Let's go. Hopefully the franchisor is saying the same thing about you. Back to dating. We get all the way to the end, right? We're about to do the whole like I do thing. Do we have some butterflies, right? And nerves? I mean, I didn't on the second marriage because my wife's amazing. Just make sure I've got that on record, right? But there are those things, but you know it's that you're there. That's the person for you. You will know that is the brand for you and vice versa. Okay. That is how you begin the discovery process. So, as always, I hope our Franchising 101 podcast episodes provide some insight into what this journey is like and then the amazing possibilities that can be achieved down the road. This is a process unlike anything you've ever done. You have to be open-minded. You have to be ready to get out of your comfort zone going through this. Almost everybody we work with starts a franchise in an industry they have little to no experience in. It is a franchise that wasn't really on their radar when we got started. And oftentimes it's a brand they never knew existed. Like, think of that for a second. That's a lot to absorb. That's why you got to come in here to us with an open mind when we connect you to the franchisors, because there's one of them. Well, that old ball guy's nuts. I don't know what he's giving me that one for. Just understand that's probably the one you're going to own at the end. Okay. So that's us. Please, as always, if you haven't already, why not subscribe, follow, all of those things wherever you listen to our podcast, our YouTube channel, FranCoach for you, and certainly our social media channels, all of those things. And then our team is here ready for you to take you through all of this. FranCoach.net is where you're going to find all of our team. There is never, ever any fee for our service. We're here to help you guys. Let's figure out how we can help you create your better tomorrow. That's it for today. We will talk with you next week.